For many of us, Mornay is a childhood classic, and when it's made right, it is absolutely delicious. Now, usually it's made with tuna, but I'm going to show you a different version using salmon, and it works so well. And of course, you can adapt it by adding lots of different vegetables to it. So we'll start with the all-important Mornay sauce. It's a white sauce with cheese in it. I need my pot to be on a medium heat, and I'm going to add some butter. Now we'll need about 40 to 50 grams of butter, and we're going to melt that butter. So that's the base of our sauce. Instead of adding onion, I'm going to add leek because I love the mild flavour of the leek. So what I've done is just cut open my leek and given it a really good wash. I've taken away the dark green parts, and I'm just going to chop this up. I love leek in a dish like this. It's not too intense, and it does impart a lovely silky velvety finish on the sauce as they cook in the butter. So into the butter, and you can see my butter has just started to go a golden colour. That's okay, that's also going to impart a nutty flavour. And just let them sweat off and cook. We don't want them to caramelise so much, we just want them to cook down. Now, just to ensure that they don't burn, I always add a good pinch of salt at this stage too. Right, I'll just give that a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm just going to grate some cheese. I love parmesan for this because it's not overpowering. We want to taste our salmon in this, so we don't want it to be too cheesy with blue cheeses and other cheeses like that. So I would recommend parmesan for this, so it gives it a bitey, savoury flavour. You could also use cheddar, which is also quite classic in a tuna Mornay for this. So we want a good couple of handfuls, some for the Mornay sauce, and the rest is going to go on the top when I bake it in the oven with some breadcrumbs. So that's looking quite good. Right, let's have a look at the leeks. Perfect, they smell great and they've softened nicely. So we'll add our flour. I generally say if you're going to use about 40 grams of the butter, 40 grams of flour, and really give that a good stir and cook off that flour. As it starts to stick, you know that we're cooking off the flour, which is a good sign to proceed to adding the liquid. So a splash of milk, and this just ensures that we don't get any lumps. I'm going to stir that in, and you'll see it automatically thickens up. I'm going to turn the heat back up and then add some more milk, about half of that, giving it a stir, and then the rest of the milk can go in. I'll add another small pinch of salt and also some freshly cracked pepper. And now we just need to be patient and allow that to come to the boil. What we're looking for is a lovely, velvety, lush, thick sauce. So as that cooks, we can get on to the pasta. I'll turn the heat on my water. We want that to be rapidly boiling. I'm using these cute little elbows today, but there's no reason why you can't use macaroni too. All right, this pasta is nearly cooked. Al dente is what we want because by the time we put it in the sauce and then in the oven, it's going to continue cooking. So the sauce is also thickened, which means it's time to add our cheese. So just half of the cheese, the rest goes on top. This is where you can add lots of different flavours that go with salmon though. So I've got some lemon zest. We're just going to freshly grate that straight into our sauce. I've got this on a really low heat because I just want to melt that cheese, and I also want to cook the spinach that I'll add in a moment. Also some Dijon mustard, a spoonful of that. And I just love capers, a pop of saltiness. They're also quite briny, which is just right with the salmon, and we'll just fold that in. Now, while that's hot, I'm going to add a generous amount of this spinach. I know it looks like a lot, but it does cook down, and I really want a lot of that green throughout this dish. This is also a great opportunity to add more vegetables. If you want, peas work really well with this. Corn works nicely too, even zucchini. And then a little bit more. As you fold that, the delicate leaves just completely break down into the sauce. Now time for our canned salmon. So I'm using salmon that was in water in the brine. I've drained that off, and I'm just going to add it without flaking it up too much. And the second can goes in. I just love that pale pink colour against the green spinach. It's so good. And again, just gently fold this and the heat can go off. And you can see just 2 cans, how much protein we're adding to this. Okay, pasta. We're going to use a slotted spoon to add that to our sauce. My pot looks a little small, but we will manage. And if some of that starchy water goes in, even better. It's just going to help form a lovely creamy sauce. Give that a bit of a stir. You could also add another pinch of salt at this stage. And you can see how saucy it is. It almost looks like there's too much sauce, but trust me, as this cooks in the oven, it'll be just right. So we'll pour this into a baking dish. Spread it out. And I like this to have a crunchy topping. So I've got some leftover bread here that I've just blended in my food processor. I'll also add the rest of that Parmesan cheese and a good drizzle of olive oil. And that's just going to help everything become quite golden in the oven. Now everything is cooked here. Essentially we're just forming a crust. So I've just preheated my oven on the grill element and we're going to cook that until this is bubbling and all of this lovely topping has become crispy and golden brown. Well, we've got a lovely crunchy topping. It's golden brown. You can see how saucy it is and all those big chunks of salmon in here. I like serving this in a big glass gratin dish like this. So let's grab a generous spoonful. Look at that, so saucy, super chunky. And just place it onto a plate. It smells fantastic with the capers and the salmon. And naturally, I'm gonna want a taste of this. Any type of creamy pasta dish has my name on it. And it is so good with that salmon. See how I've left those big chunks? That's what it's all about. This is a cost-effective dish that is going to feed 4 people easily. There'll even be some leftovers. Yum.